I'd like to call to order the Warwick Township Board of Supervisors meeting for June 17, 2024. Do I stand and do a pledge of allegiance? Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board met in executive session, talked about litigation and personnel. We have the approval of the minutes for Monday, May 20th, 2024, Board of Supervisors meeting. Judith, how do you want me to proceed?
Motion?
I make a motion that we accept. Go ahead.
I made the motion, you second.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, all in favor?
Sorry,
Just to be fun. Little delay, Judith, in me speaking, so we'll be okay.
Good.
All right. Kyle, announcements?
Thank you. The only announcement tonight is that the Summer Movies in the Park series will kick off with the movie Migration on June 19th and Trolls Band Together on July 10th. For additional information or dates, please visit warwickrec.com.
Thank you, Kyle. Citizens comment, TJ Costa.
There's a couple items that concern me, so I typically look over our check register each month. I'm just seeing a lot of, my business is marketing and marketing materials. It's kind of what I do for a living. Our cost for uniform polos is extremely high. I'm 20% cheaper, just for instance, on what you're paying for 4 uniform polos. And that's without even factoring in the referring to
These uniform polos?
For Peregrine Associates, I can do it a lot cheaper than that. I just don't know if we're not getting bids. $189.23 for 4 uniform polos seems pretty high. In this market, you can get cheaper prices with a national-based contract. I hope the township can explore that. Also, $645.11 for envelopes with our letterhead on it. You can go to bizamarketing.com and get it for another $300. Same thing, look exactly like the envelope, an envelope's an envelope, it's just an image. Just trying to save the township money where I can. The other thing is, I know the 5-year plan is up for review tonight. I have not had a chance to review it, but I hope in this plan, and I hope to see that we're gonna get more residents involved in the surveys. Door knocking for my wife's campaign. I found that a lot of residents didn't even know about the survey from the past 5-year plan. So I don't think it's indicative of the current outline of all the residents. For instance, in Heritage Street, a big group of people there do not drive at night to fall, so they can't come to our township meetings. So the fact that if I didn't arrange the live stream on my wife's YouTube, and she didn't arrange for that, they'd be a month delayed on anything doing with the township. These are residents that vote in every election, are highly involved in the township. They just don't drive at night. We have no transportation for them to get here. They're elderly. It's a 55 and older community. I really do think that the township should be taking over the recording and live streaming to the township website. It shouldn't be done by a third party. I'll see that every meeting until we finally do it. Other townships do it that are less faulty than we are. New Britain, for instance, live streams their meetings. They're smaller than we are. So I hope that that's something the township can explore doing. And if you need help on implementation, just let me know. Email my wife or myself. Kyle has her email. I'll help you implement it. But just want to point out things where you can save money.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, second citizen comment is James, is it Fletcher?
Fetch, T-S-C-H-E-R. Good evening. Hi, everyone. Hi, Smiley. Mary. I live down at 1460 Stony Road. My family, my wife's family's been here for 5 generations, 6 maybe. I know 5, 6 maybe, but they're on this road, Stone Road, literally. And I'm here to talk to you about what the hell is this? What do you know about it? I couldn't come to the planning commission for the simple reason that I just saw this on my property at the end of last week. And I think you people have some explanations for me, and I'd like to know what they are.
Sir, do you live next to the large vacant property that there's a development sign?
Down the street, I'm the oldest house on the block. No, the one on the corner is the oldest.
You're down by Bristol Road?
Yeah, I'm the fourth house up on the left-hand side coming up the hill.
Oh.
Okay, but all, look at all the trees. Nobody got the trees. I got
And I truly don't know what that marker is.
Could you show it to me?
Sure, I have no idea what it is. And I have things on my property that say no trespassing. Somebody's gonna come on my property and put something on there, and you people are involved in this. I wanna know what it's about.
Was this on your property or next to your property?
It was in my property.
In your property? All right, so this is telling me it's a sanitary manhole.
Okay,
It's gonna be 10 feet offset from the center line here. I can't say, we did not put it in. It's probably the developer surveyor put it in. The developer who was developing that empty piece of ground that Mr. Secretary talked about.
I know all about it.
He's also,
Which warnings?
I beg your pardon?
Which, warnings?
He's the person who owned it.
Before Shahada.
Right.
Okay, so he is extending the sanitary sewer system down Stony Road, but, not through your property.
Okay, I'm not interested in that because I'm grandfathered in. I have septic and my own water. And that's been established for those houses were built across the street from me 20-something years ago. And like I said, what I'm here for is, I want an explanation. Oh, you tell me it's the sewage and they're gonna put a sewage, thing there? You know, I want to know about it. If it's going to be on my property, I want to especially know about it. Why wasn't I told about that?
Might I suggest that you make an appointment, come in and look at the plans that
Sure.
could go over with you?
What the plans are. Wait, you're putting the horse before, the carriage.
Mhm,
Beyond the carriage, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not here that I want to look at a plan. I want to know things in my neighborhood. When somebody comes on my property, I want to know. I don't think that's it. You know,
Sir, I understand that, but the issue right now is we don't know why that particular survey stick
you
was there.
guys, there is
We have to go,
this is your job.
we have to go to the plans and look at it, so.
No, I don't go with plans. I want an explanation.
Again,
Then I'll look at the plans.
Sir, I can provide you with an explanation, but not at this exact moment.
Right.
We have to look into it. If I can get your phone number, I can call you tomorrow when I've had a chance to review the plans, we take a look at the situation. But I can't, not sitting here, can any of us answer what that stake is.
Well, it seems like I said, you're putting a carriage in front of the horse. You're gonna be putting this and doing this. And I don't know a damn thing about it.
What we're saying is the township.
I don't care about what you're saying. I want to hear what you're doing. I want it from you people, not the planning commission. I would have taken planning commission on if I would have had the first Wednesday. But I just got this week.
Sir, it's important that you speak into the mic so that
Oh, sure.
I have your phone number, I'll
give you
the call.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, now,
Again,
I'm up here for
as
answers.
Mr. Seclinger just said, none of us here right now, without going to the plans and looking at it, will be able to give you an answer. We'll be happy to get back to you. That's the best. we
That's
can
as
do
far
tonight.
as you can go with this?
That is correct.
Wow, wow. I had a business of my own for 32 years.
Yes, right now, we're in the middle.
Excuse me, let me finish. I had business for 32 years. And I wouldn't have people work for me that don't know what the hell they're doing. Seriously. I don't think I'm asking them that much. You're supposed to know what the township's doing. You are supposed to be the upper echelon of them. And I come up here with this, And you go, oh geez, I don't even know what the hell that, but it is, so I apologize for my language. But, you know, if you're gonna come on my property, I wanna know about it, that's all.
Understood.
And then we go from there. But I'm trying to get from there to here. And you're telling me, you have answers for me.
I think they are giving you answers. I think you may not be liking the answers that you're getting. It doesn't seem to anybody at this table that the township went on that property and put that stake.
Never said they did. Never said they did. They have a reason for doing this. And all I'm asking you, like I said, if I could have seen the planning commission on the first Monday, I would have been up here. But with that being said, I just saw it. So I go, now, what is this? What are we doing? And I come up here and you guys, the lady over here,
The township
Michelle?
engineer, sir. She's the township engineer.
okay, well, she's the only one that had a little bit of an answer for me. I mean, you're doing projects and you don't know.
You're not listening. That is not a township project, that is a developer's project, so no one at this table knows who put that stake in, and they're going to look into it and get.
No, I don't care about the stake. I want to know why the stake is there.
And as the township engineer explained to you, it is most likely that the stake was put in by the developer who's surveying for the purpose of installing the sewer line to serve that development.
Well, it sounds like me to me, and I don't mean to be rude. Left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. That's scary. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
That's all I got to say. I really thought I'd get some reasonable answers, and these people would know what the heck's going on. And I'm really, really disappointed for this stuff. Like I said, you're here, you've got a job to do. You should know what's going on. And why am I? I got water coming off my property. And that property's been there for 75 years. And the gentleman above me got happy on a backhoe, a grinder, I don't know what it was, but he changed the topography. And the girl that's the engineer here, she knew about it, they had a problem. And he jumped from all my water, his water down to me on my driveway. And goes out in the street between the houses. I had to put a swale in. Got so bad. Now, this winter, I went out to put out my trash on Tuesday for Wednesday pickup. Guess what? I had to have two people stop and pick me up because I fell right on my head taking trash cans out because of the ice that's there. Now, is that my responsibility or yours? You did something with him when you went in to his place and put a line in to a culvert. I'm still getting all the work. I'm still the one who almost got killed. People wanted to take me to the hospital. I appreciate what they did, stopping and taking their time.
Kyle, we can have Brandy look into that again, right?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll have Brandy look into that again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. That's all I got.
Thank
Wish I know if you don't mind if I stay.
Go right ahead.
Okay, good.
Manager's report.
Okay, thank you. First item is zoning hearing board 24-08. This is the application by 2583 State Road Realty Associates, otherwise known as the Elliott-Lewis project at 1707 Stout Drive. They were here last month. Well, actually, they were not physically here last month. They were on the agenda. The board had some questions for them. They're applying to the zoning hearing board for zoning relief to allow less than the required number of spaces for an H3 warehousing use of the property. 55 spaces would be required. The site currently has 30 spaces. This application, as I said, was continued from last month's meeting and is now tentatively scheduled for the July 9th, zoning hearing board. So if somebody is here from the application, please come up.
Good evening. I apologize for not being here last month, and thank you for allowing us to speak this hearing. So, 28, I'm Kyle Coleman, General Counsel for 2583, as well as Elliott-Lewis Corporation, SC Rigging and Sargent Marine Rental. 2583 State Road is the real estate buyer that currently has an agreement for sale for the property at 1707 Stout Road. As we were applying for our occupancy, we got the various, or the zoning request to increase the spots, parking spaces from 55 to 30, which prompted us to file the zoning variation, which is currently before you. Just to give you some idea as far as what the planned purpose for the property is. So it is warehousing, however, it's not commercial, retail, or last mile warehousing. It's primarily just for our customers. So SC Rigging, who's going to be the main tenant, is a rigging moving company. Their main customer is Pico. This is mainly going to be for storing Pico's equipment. So these, and as well as Elliott-Lewis's customers' commercial HVAC equipment. We plan on having one employee at the site full time, only to be using one parking spot. Customers do not have access to this site, including Pico or any of the HVAC customers. All of the storage deliveries are going to be scheduled, and they're all going to be going in. So if you look at my approach to that, here. So on the Sycamore Drive entrance here, we have a very large bay entrance here, which is, once you get in the warehouse, it's serviced by overhead cranes. So the large storage items are all going to be going directly into this bay. Nothing's going to be hanging out in the parking areas or anything. So it's, 9 a.m., June 18th, we're coming and we're picking up this transformer, and that there's no going to be stacking of people coming, waiting. And the only truck, it's going to be trucks that we're having purposely come for the pickup or drop off of a large item. Most of these rentals are going to be at a minimum a quarter rental, 3 months of a rental. There will be some of our SC rigging crew, which will be picking up rigging equipment as well. Again, they're not going to be parking in the parking lot. These are a bay here, and there's a bay here as well. They're going to be driving directly into those bays because the equipment that they're picking up is too heavy. It's going to be needed the equipment that's inside the warehouse to actually put that into their trucks to then go and do their rigging equipment. So capsulized, it's really highly specialized industrial warehousing that's more rental and controlled by us. It's not going to be open access. There's not going to be a line of trucks waiting to unload their items or pick up their items. It's all going to be scheduled. And honestly, with the frequency that this goes, we'll be lucky if it's like 3 or 4 times a week that things are actually even moving in and out of the warehouse. Just these are large transformers and that sort of. And then the other issue is given the property itself, there's no actual other physical space to put any other parking spots. You're actually looking at the map. I know the map kind of shows some frontage there, but the way that it's configured and everything, and once we actually we're putting a water line in as well to cut public water, there's really no other place to put any additional spaces. So based on that, we do respectfully request that the board withdraw its prior opposition to our various requests.
Judith, any questions?
The only question I have is, you said you're going to have one staff member there at the building.
Correct.
Do you anticipate more?
No.
What's the,
That's all I have.
thanks, Judith. What's the maximum amount of people you would think would be there at any given time?
Maybe 3, 4 times. And that's assuming that the full-time staff member that's there. And if they're moving in a large transformer, it's going to be 2 to 3 people to help with the operating of the equipment. And they're going to come in the truck that's delivering the equipment as well. So it's not gonna be extra vehicles, I mean, it's gonna be two drivers in the truck. And then they're gonna get off and use the overhead crane to move the equipment to where it's gonna be housed.
What, you mentioned that probably your main customer is Pico, and you mentioned transformers. What other Pico equipment do you store on the property?
It's a good question. I did bring our operations. You know.
Hi, I'm Bob Slaughter, president of Slaughter Crane. This building is strictly going to be used for storage and keep equipment in there. Most of it will be small transformers, and there'll be shackles and chokers and spreader bars, that type of thing that rigging people use. That'll be stored in that building also. One guy in there, so what will happen is the guy gets a phone call at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I need this, and this for tomorrow morning. He will put all that stuff on the truck. Operator will wait there tomorrow morning, pick the truck up, go to the job site. No work will be performed there at all.
The trucks will be there, though. Are the trucks going to be stored inside?
Stored inside, yes.
So there won't be any outdoor storage?
So we'll have valuable equipment on it, so I'll keep that stuff inside. There'll be no operator working there, they're all going to stay in the main building where we are now. We're out of space as well.
As a suggestion to the board, if you oppose this, you oppose this. If you choose not to oppose it, once you've established the warehouse use, the description of the warehouse that they're describing is very different than the way many warehouses operate. And you might want to consider asking the zoning hearing board to include a condition that limits the activity of the property to the testimony and to the applicant's proposed use. And if further, if there's more intensity, or someone wants to use it as a last mile station, something that's going to generate more truck traffic, that they have to go back to the zoning hearing board for further review to do that. That's one of your possible options.
I agree with that, Mary.
Okay, any other questions, Judith?
No, but I agree with Mary's suggestion that we follow the recommendation of what we'd like to see with the zoning hearing board.
I agree. So I need to do a
Okay.
motion. So we're gonna remain in from the application with the following conditions.
Yes.
All right, and
Okay.
the conditions would be that the use conducted on the property will be as described in the testimony before the zoning hearing board and before the board of supervisors this evening. And that if there are any changes, especially to the intensity of the warehouse, that further zoning hearing board relief is required. And second, that there'll be no outdoor storage on the property.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, second?
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle?
Okay. The next item is the 5-year plan. Okay, so the 5-year plan is the document that we use to assist in the creation of each annual budget. It's updated every few years. It's based off of the comprehensive plan, which is a planning document that's updated about every 10 years. The comprehensive planning document is a document that solicits citizen feedback as far as what are residents of Warwick Township looking for. And then the 5-year plan essentially is a strategic plan that puts that into action. We look at several factors when devising a plan like this. One is our population projections. The U.S. Census has us staying very flat, potentially even about 100 population reduction between now and 2026. They are probably not aware, though, that we have a few developments that are currently being built. It's 78 townhouse development on York Road, mainly, which I would think would put in 200 or so residents. So I think that we're more likely to remain flat than we are to reduce. These are some of the developments that one in particular that I just mentioned, that Jamison Place, York Road development of 70 townhomes. There's also a 7-lot subdivision that's being developed off of Warwick Road, called the Sailor subdivision. The Shahada contracting subdivision, which is the one on Stony Road, is approved, not yet under construction. That was 13 units. And then there's two developments that are under review, like the Lucas subdivision on Meeting House Road, 4 lots, and an Ostrov property at Minor Way that has had a number of sketch plans submitted over the years, very much ranging in density and the unit count, but I would say on average about 20 units. Then there's always projects that come in over the course of a 5-year period, small, minor subdivision type projects that we're not aware of, but we try to account for them by listing them as unknown projects. Commercial projects, there's 3 developments, 3 current buildings being built in Campus Drive, and there's a few that are under review. The Luke Oil property has had sketch plans submitted, but nothing approved. 2581 York Road, again, that's down closer to MBIT, has had permits and applications applied for, but not yet acted upon by the property owner. And then there's a few vacant lots between Acton Karate and Warwick Tavern that are, ripe for redevelopment. I will ask the board, would you prefer that I pause after each year, after each project, or at the end for questions?
I would continue unless we interrupt you.
Okay.
Is that okay, Judith?
That's fine, Michael. Thank you.
Okay, the first section is for 2025 in Parks and Recreation. 3 projects. One is the replacement of Recreation Station, which is the playground here. We estimate that the playground costs about $500,000. Currently, a grant submitted for that, so our portion of it would be $250,000. The community room, which is downstairs, we use some round tables to replace their existing tables, and the Memorial Park Pavilion, which is the park off of York Road and Memorial Drive, would be restained. That's a total cost of $255,000.
Kyle, do we often restain the building, like, is that like a yearly or every other?
Every couple of years, it's going to be restained. That building in particular gets really beat on by the sun, and there's very high maintenance to that, so it always needs attention. At the administration building, which is this building here, we have the original copy room server room, which is not designed for server type equipment and the type of equipment that we utilize currently. A first responder fitness room. This is something where predominantly police officers have expressed interest in an amenity. We have a small area on the first floor that could be repurposed with a few pieces of equipment. And lastly is the reception desk out front here next to the lobby. Again, the reception desk is original to the building. So that's a total of $55,000 for those 3 projects. Next is in the police department for next year. The police corporal desk could be replaced. The Sally Port garage heater, which is the heater and where the vehicles come in, when they're transporting somebody who's under arrest. And then 3 police vehicles with Ford Explorer hybrids, for a total of $208,000. In Public Works, for the last year or so, we've been working on coming up with a solution to the Walton Road stabilization issue. We've gone through solutions, possible solutions like a seawall, but the expense of the seawall was astronomical, $600,000 to $700,000. So our Public Works Department has been researching alternatives that they could install at the house. They located an alternative that was installed in the Conshohocken area. And essentially it's wire baskets that are lined with fabric. And then you put some stone at the bottom, you put soil in the bottom, you put seed. And that you put them in and you stack them on top of each other. You can line the side of the stream. And it's relatively, of course, it's still $160,000, but compared to a seawall, it's an inexpensive option. And it's one in which our Public Works Department feel that they have the ability to install in the house. Next is the Public Works Facility Access Control. So this building this year is receiving an access control system, which is just a fancy word for like a key fob system for various access points, instead of kind of having a multitude of keys. This is that same system, but also being utilized at the Public Works facility. Sidewalks, again, in our comprehensive plan, residents have expressed the desire to have more sidewalks at the township in each year. In the past several years, we've been installing sidewalks. For 2025, we'll be proposing to install sidewalks on Meeting House Road between the newly developed Jamison Place townhouse development to St. Cyril's. St. Cyril's at the corner there has sidewalks wrapping around that bend. So people from the new development and even going as far as the Wawa and across the street down Minor Way would be able to walk all the way down Meeting House Road. They could get to Warwick Elementary. And then alternatively, the neighborhoods like Jamison, Hunt, and Hampton Chase on the other side of Mom's House Road would be able to walk towards essentially like the Wawa and those types of amenities that way. Public Works also has a replacement of the 2009 F-350 utility truck with a new model year truck. That's a total of $491,200.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Mark, by the way? You know, I walk by Public Works every day, and I want to applaud you for how well kept the vehicles are. I mean, I think that we had that truck in 2009, it looks stellar. So just want to give you a kudos on that one.
Hey,
One thing though you can't stop is when you use these trucks for salt pit and plowing, the underneath just completely rots that way after a while. The 2025 road program, again, I'm going to preface this by saying these are tentative roads currently as they're assessed today. Dorset Way, Buckingham Drive, Whitfield Drive, Monticello, Chapman, Cambridge, Stover, and Russet Drive, for a total of $618,000. So this is a total summary for the entire year of 2025. These are capital type expenses, and the total is 1.6 million, which is basically in line with what we generally spend each year on capital expenses. 2026, we have the Guinea Lane Playground. We believe that with grant funding, the total cost would be $370,000 to replace that playground. Our portion, if awarded the grant, would be $60,000. Park sunshades have been a popular request. We've added a few this year, and we'd like to add some more. They're a very rigid structure that can withhold or withstand, high winds. We'd be looking to install them at the Guinea Lane Park and Community Park. We plant trees too, as far as response for people that want shade. Obviously, trees can take a long time to grow to make the shade, so this would be supplementing that. Now, the park system control system, so this is the same system that would be that's being installed in this building this year, being installed in the Public Works building next year, and then the park system would have the same system in 2026 with where all the pavilion bathrooms and maintenance shed storage rooms are, and 1 zero-turn mower to be replaced for a total of $138,000. Administration, this building has an elevator. It's generally not needed other than routine maintenance, much repair since its installation in 1998. We'd be looking to replace the control panels, electronic components, the door mechanisms, and the estimate we received for that is about $50,000. The police department has a rear gate. This is the gate that if you're in the police department and you are looking out at Community Park, it's a manual gate. It's kind of being held together currently, and but it could be replaced. It's essentially too heavy to be a swing gate. It needs to be a sliding gate. And then the police compound reader is their access point off of Minor Way. Also in 2026, the police department accreditation consultant will be up for renewal. If you choose to stay with this company, it would it would be about $39,000 to renew them between 2027 and 2029.
How often do we do that?
That's every 3 years.
Every 3 years?
So, and then 3 police vehicles are projected to be replaced at that, in that year as well, for a total of $257,000. In the Public Works Department, a few projects, mainly the Creek Road flood barriers. So we've noticed a trend in some neighboring townships where they are installing these manual and lowering flood gates. Essentially, it's just a long arm that anybody, whether it's a responding public works employee or whether it's a police officer or even myself, I could, lower the arm, if we know that Creek Road is flooding. It's just something to stop people from driving into high water. It's unfortunate that even we put barricades out and people will still drive around the barricades. In fact, I think they did it in Creek Road last year with one of our heavy rains. So we thought it'd be a good trial to try it on a township road instead of a PennDOT road, because it'd be more difficult. It would be working with PennDOT to get something like this approved. So that's why Creek Road and plus Creek Road floods. So,
I think it's a great idea.
and then
They'll drive around it though. I can guarantee they'll drive around it.
Yeah. In keeping up with the sidewalk construction, in 2026, we have Alms House Road from 2094 to 2046. That's essentially up near Guinea Lane. And then from Alms House Road to 2046 to Sunrise Way. That's Guinea Lane down to Sunrise Way. And the first address, 2094 to 2046, is down closer to
Jansen.
no, that is the large mansion. And then there's a couple properties there. That's right in there. There's a couple gaps in the sidewalks in that area. That's 177,000. And then we have one public works truck. It's a 2011 six-wheeler dump truck to be replaced with a new model of that year for 250,000. 2026 road program includes Fairmont Drive, Trip Avenue, Adams Way, Foxwood Drive, Ross Lane, Meeting House Road, that's Old York Road to Bristol Road, Grandview Circle, Juniper Circle, and Bittersweet Circle, for a total of 707,000. Again, total, this is combining the purchases, the projects with the road program, is a total of just shy of 1.6 million for 2026. In 2027, the Parks and Rec Department, Parks and Rec also oversees our open space maintenance. We have a pond, called Hidden Pond, where we have, we've been looking for different ways to reduce invasive plant species. An aerator is another solution that we could have instead of using chemicals. So this is the cost of purchasing an aerator for that pond, and then painting the pavilion here at Community Park. Parks and Rec Department, as well as maintaining the open space, they cut all the grass. They use 2 enclosed landscape trailers to do so. At this point, those trailers would be over, by 2027, I think they would be over 17 years old at that point. So we'd estimate that they'd be at the end of their life. And then 1 zero-turn mower for a total cost of $80,000. Large format scanner. This is a scanner that we use in the administration department, particularly our planning and zoning department, to scan large plan sheets. Usually they're older plan sheets that are not in PDF format. The kit scanner we currently have is a 2011. It's no longer supported. The software is no longer supported, and it's no longer under warranty. So we anticipate that it may no longer work at some point. So that's why it's in the plan. Police vehicles. For 2027, we estimate needing 2 police vehicles for a total of 130,000. In Public Works, the sidewalk construction for this year is Alms House Road from the CVS Pharmacy to St. Cyril's Church. So we're kind of completing that loop, because York Road will be complete at that point. Meeting House Road will be complete. Now you're completing the Alms House Road portion. So you're really allowing people from various neighborhoods to be able to get around and walk around. Valley Road Bridge replacement, this is a bridge that we've been applying for grants for. The bridge to replace would cost $2 million. It's awarded the grant, our portion will be $465,000. We're people on trying to get the grant to replace it. If we can't get the grant to replace it, you know, the alternative is to make some repairs to the bridge. Next is in Public Works is some stormwater design. There's an older neighborhood in the township off of Park Avenue and Meadow Drive, where there's no inlets and no curbing, no stormwater management. It predates stormwater management. So we'd be looking to design some type of a plan. Essentially, it would be a stormwater plan for the neighborhood, a plan in which we could take and apply to grants with, and then hopefully use those grants to fund the construction of the project. That year, Public Works would also be looking to purchase a skid steer with a mill attachment. A mill attachment's a device that chews up the asphalt in preparation for paving. We currently have a paver and a roller. We do not have any type of a milling machine. The skid steer with the milling attachment is one of our most commonly rented pieces of equipment. So judging from how long we're able to maintain and hold on to equipment, we would realize the cost savings by owning something like this. So the total department cost is $894,140. The road program for 2027, Daniel Trail, Harrison Lane, Deepwell Circle, West Hill Lane, Monroe Drive, Alex Lane, Scott Place, and Conway Court. You notice we're getting into Heritage Creek in 2027. So that's a total of $632,500. For a total of $1.7 million. That's the projects, purchases, and the road program. So, 2028, we have replacing park signage that we estimate today at that time going to be replaced, and the Hidden Pond Park playground. It's a smaller playground. That's the full cost without any grants for $100,000. We don't have any projects further than this time for this building. And then the police department, there's some caveats with some of these. The patrol vehicle shelter. Notice that this is becoming more of a trend, that police equipment, because of all of the equipment and electronics that are installed on police cars, keeping them out of the elements is a way to try to get more life out of them. But I also think that if the future of some of these police vehicles is plug-in hybrids or electric, having plug-ins that are within a sheltered space could be advantageous. So it's our attempt to be future thinking and try to come up with an idea that might serve as a problem or solve a problem that doesn't yet exist. But this is just looking into a feasibility study, looking at our current parking lot and seeing what can be configured there. Next is the police radios. Every 12, 15 years, the county wants to replace the radios. It's a tremendous expense. The county, last time, they offered everybody in the county, so it's all the municipalities, 0% money. So the hope would be they would do the same thing. Of course, we take anybody up with 0% loan. And, but we just estimated what it would cost if there's no loan, nothing offered. We believe it would be about $285,000. Radios are tremendously expensive. Next is the license plate, fixed license plate reader. So we have license plate readers that are equipped on a few of our police cars, but this would be a fixed license plate reader that would supplement the existing readers that are installed on police cars. The most likely location would be York and Alms House. The estimated cost is $25,000. That's the full cost, but I will say we've seen grants that cover either all or nearly all of the cost of these types of devices. So the hope would be that this covered. The total department budget was $320,000. For Public Works, Public Works is currently on a septic system. The septic system is back of the property. This would cost $75,000 cost to install a low pressure grinder pump pit system, and it would have to go up King Lane towards Ashton Drive. And then the sidewalk construction for 2028 on York Road. There are currently no sidewalks between Walgreens and Warwick Township. We stopped it there. We try not to put sidewalks on properties that have great development potential. Once you get past Warwick Township, there's properties that are more likely to be developed. And as in the previous year, we budgeted for a storm sewer plan, stormwater facilities plan that would be devised. Then in the future year, whether it be 2028 or 2029, we would hope to be able to apply for the grant and actually start doing the work. We estimated that a project of that magnitude of that development would cost about $750,000. Most of the grants that we see for these types of projects are set for 85, 50 maximum requirements. So that's what we think our portion would be about 150,000. And then 2028, places the 580 case backhoe, the new backhoe, in the gauge. For a total cost of $555,190. Road program for 2028, Sterling Street, Tulip Road, that would be from Crossroads turnaround to York Road, Maxwell Manor, Hamilton Way, and Lawrence. The road program total was $684,000. This is combined total cost of $1.6 million. That was for 2020.
Kyle, question for you, maybe the novice guy. What did we do with our old equipment, the old police cars, old loaders?
So the police cars, if they are in fair condition, we are committed to transfer them to our fire company.
Good idea.
So the officers in the fire company, the chief, the deputy chief, the battalion chief, they have more fire company issued former police cars, but now they're fire vehicles. And then also the fire police have a vehicle. So the last several police cars that were in running order were transferred to them, and they rebadged them with the fire company. If they're not in good shape, we're not going to give them 11. So generally, they're traded in. They generally have low value. Police cars don't have the amenities that a normal car would have. They usually have vinyl flooring. The seats are not in the back because there's a cage in the back. There's holes in the ceiling because there were light bars. So they have limited value to like a retail consumer. And then the equipment, again, it can be traded in. If the trade-in value isn't there, there is an eBay for municipalities. It's called Municipid, and it works very much like eBay. And we put things on Municipid and try to get a better return.
Nice.
Thank you. So up to 2029. Again, we have more park signage throughout the township. The Memorial Park Pavilion is stained again. Part of routine maintenance, that was a total of $13,000. We don't have any projects for this facility. The police department, they're anticipating end of life of the Peter Patterson stations and docks. So we get police vehicles. They're new at the moment, but they're anticipating end of life in 2029. And 2 new police cars back here. Total cost $282,000. Public Works, more sidewalk construction, again on Alms House Road from Land Road to Sunrise Way. This is a long stretch, but essentially would connect the top half, the whole Game Lane section of the township, down Alms House Road to right by Jackson Elementary. There is a PennDOT bridge in that area, which we would have to work with PennDOT to incorporate some type of pedestrian access. But this is just the cost to do the sidewalk work at this point, and we purposely put it out to 2029, knowing that we'll work with PennDOT to come up with a solution for that bridge, which I know will take time. Public Works equipment, we own 2 backhoes. The previous year, we were replacing one of the backhoe with another backhoe. Public Works wants to replace the second backhoe, a similar but slightly different machine called an excavator, just for digging and no front end loader. And that, so that's a total between the sidewalks and the equipment of $605,000. Road program, for that year is Wimbledon Drive, Mountain Laurel Drive, Augusta, Sawgrass, Stony Road, Turning Truck Bristol, Lakewell, Wayne Drive, Park Drive, and Meadow Drive, for a total of $747,000. So the combined cost for that year is $1.25 million. Shifting out of projects for a moment, we're looking at staffing. Because obviously staffing can also impact the plan. For 2025, the police department has asked for a 19th officer. This officer would supplement the detective's office. The caseload that the detective's office has reached a point where a third full-time detective is warranted. The Parks and Rec Department could use, that could add some additional parks. Memorial Park and greatly expanded Meeting Lane Park. An additional part-time employee to help to maintain all that parking. We've also found it more difficult each year to find and attract seasonal grass cutters. So unfortunately, this is kind of the repercussions of that as well. For the whole length of the plan, you know, we're constantly in communication with the Warwick Fire Company regarding their response personnel numbers, ensuring that they have enough people essentially going out on the trucks when the alarm goes off. So should we come to a point where they need additional help, there are certain township positions that can be kind of hybrid type positions, where you're a firefighter and you're a fire inspector, or you're a firefighter and some type of code enforcement officer. Some townships have hired part-time firefighters. You know, we're not at that point yet. The response is good. In fact, this last year, from when I say last year, I'm talking 2023, the fire company had a better response than previous years. So they've been doing some things to bring in new volunteers, and it's staying strong, but it's something that we're obviously monitoring. And then again, really somewhere in the 5-year plan, you know, right now we have an assistant township manager. She is also the finance director. So, you know, at some point, you know, does that position formally become 2 different people? Other townships, it is 2 different people. You know, we've traditionally had it the same. Again, this isn't saying that we're doing it. This is just saying this is something that we should be monitoring. This is a slide, threats and opportunities. It's basically what are the outstanding external events that can change a plan, you know, and either for the better or for the worse. Obviously, if the township had to pay for firefighters, that would be a great expense. Any type of a national, state, or regional economic slowdown, a great recession, you know, could change things. And then positively, grant funding. You know, the township receiving grants can put us in a great financial position. Staffing levels. So by staffing levels, I mean ensuring that when we're hiring new staff, like additional staff counts, that it's warranted, that it's not, it's due to an absolute need to continue to provide good service to the community. And making sure that when we are hiring staff, that we're hiring the best, people with background in local government and the expertise to do their job well. External contracts and subcontracting, evaluating contracts, various contracts that the council has, negotiating those contracts, making sure that the best deals are acquired, as well as the subcontracting contracts. Emergency medical services. So currently the township uses Central Bucks EMS to provide emergency medical services. They receive funds from the township. they predominantly EMS receives funding through billing. So they bill through the insurance companies. Should that billing not meet their operating expenses, typically EMS companies will then turn to municipalities. It would be us, it would be Warrington, Buckingham, essentially all the places that they service to ask for additional tax revenue. Infrastructure failures or natural disasters, certainly we maintain our infrastructure, but natural disasters could happen. It's something to be aware of. Interest rates, so this is kind of the double-edged sword when interest rates are very high, and since we have this debt, we make a nice return on the money that we have. The alternative is that interest rates go up high. Sometimes that can result in an economic slowdown. And if it does, then the market goes down, then we may have to fund our pension plans more because we're not making as much investment. So it's in there because it's important and it directly impacts our budgeting. And then the last is related to what I just said, is the pension and post-retirement medical insurance funding. So that's the amount of money that the township puts aside to cover pensions, and that amount of money is very much dependent on how it's invested. Millage projections. So we're not proposing any tax increase in the 5-year plan. We're assuming a 4% increase in income as a result of just the value of properties and of people's earned income tax, and a 4% increase in operating expenses, and then an 8% increase in healthcare costs, and a 10% increase in pension funding. So those are numbers that we looked at. They're conservative numbers, but we look back several years and try to come up with our best estimates, but then make sure that we're covering our expenses adequately. As I said, we're not proposing any tax increase, but I will be proposing a millage redistribution. So currently we have 11.75 mils going into the general fund. For 2025, I think we can cut that down to 11.25 and take a half a mil and put it into Park and Rec operating fund. And then it would stay the same for 2026. And then for 2027, increase Park and Rec operating fund by 0.25 mils, and then decrease Park and Rec capital fund by 0.25 mils. So then that's for the remainder of the 5-year plan. So again, it's no tax increase, you're just redistributing how you're allocating the tax millage into each fund. Now, this is a little hard to see, but essentially it's projections of fund balances. So every 5-year plan, dating back as long as I've been here, and it's 14 years, has shown that at the beginning of a 5-year plan and the end of the 5-year plan, you will not be better off. Every year, or every 5-year plan, we beat those projections. I'll also say every 5-year plan, we've completed the projects in less than 5 years. So it's a conservative estimate, but as I said, we would not be in a position where we'd have to raise taxes during these 5 years, with the caveat of those 10 or so kind of threats and opportunities that I listed before that can be kind of outside the control of the township. I think that's it. So,
Thank you, Kyle.
thank you.
Judith, any questions?
No, I just have to acknowledge what a tremendous job you've done once again, putting this together and laying it out. I'm always impressed with your work. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Becky Moranchek, Finance Director, Sleeping Township Manager, as well as Sky Sresser, Superintendent Manager. They were instrumental in putting this thing together. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Judith, 100%.
Please express our thanks to those guys also.
So if the board wants to, if you want to approve the plan as is, you can make a motion to do so. If you have any amendments, you can approve it with amendments.
Mr. Vice Chair, can I ask a
To
couple
approve
questions?
the 5-year plan.
I second it.
There's a question.
Go.
Can I ask some questions about the plan real quick? That's okay? The board?
Judith, you have to help me on that one. Public comment wants to ask questions about the plan.
Okay,
Okay.
So I just had a couple questions from seeing it. I don't know if we've looked at the state of the Guinea Lane Park. I was wondering if that could be moved and swapped with Community Park.
I've seen both, and Dan Sherpin, the director of Parks and Rec is here. I think Dan will agree with me. Community Park is in more need than the Guinea Lane Park as far as the playground apparatus. This park here is made out of wood, and the Guinea Lane Park is made out of metal and plastic.
I just know that my kids personally play there, and there's a lot of rust, a lot of screws at times that are found at the Guinea Lane Park. I know it doesn't get used as much because most people go there for the baseball fields. So if there's a way to push that project up, it would be great. I do, as a libertarian, have an issue with the fixed license plate reader in our township on a stoplight. I don't
I'm
mind-
sorry, what was that? I missed that last sentence.
I do have an issue with putting a fixed license plate reader on a stoplight. I don't mind if the cop runs my plate because I'm speeding. I don't mind if the cop runs my plate for safety when he's pulling me over. But to have a random light just running my plate in my township, I find an invasion of my personal liberties. I do not feel it's appropriate. I didn't like it when Warrington did the stop red light cameras. I'm against them. It's just a way for the government to spy on us and to track our movements. If you don't think they can do that, COVID showed us they can and will. So I am against that portion of it. And then I do think the one thing that we're not factoring in is we already are down one fire truck in the township because it's an open cab. It does not meet NFPA standards, this sure it's not respondable anymore. It's basically a parade piece at this point. The tower is old. I don't know if the fire company, and I don't think the fire company has the funds to eventually replace that and may need to come to the township for funds for that. I don't know how much longer they're gonna recertify the tower. As a former firefighter, they do go through recertification over a period of time, and if it at any point fails, we're now down 2 trucks. With only one that is an actual fire truck, the other is a tanker. So to maintain fire readiness, I do think we have to factor that as a potential outcome in the plan. And I do have a solution to the paid firefighter problem. If we had to go this route, one way to attract volunteers, New York State did it a long time ago, and it's been very effective over the last 10 years. On Long Island in upstate New York where they have volunteers. What they offer is residents who own property in the township, so they would have to own property in Warwick Township. They would have to meet 25% of the calls, or in New York it's 25%. As well as 50% of the meetings, and I think it's like 30% of trainings. And they get a discount on their property tax on the fire portion. That would be a lot cheaper than having to pay firefighters.
I do think we're working on that, right?
So we've done that in a way. So what you're talking about is a property tax rebate.
Right.
And that came about maybe 8 years ago. The state gave us the ability to do that. So instead of doing that, because that only benefits people that own property, and it leaves out the people that are renting property or people that are living with family members. So to be able to benefit everybody, property owners and renters, we give the Warwick Fire Company money and then they pay that out as a stipend. And what we did was we picked a dollar amount that would equate to roughly what your tax rebate would be. So it's essentially, it's a wash. You're either getting it as a
To
tax
that way,
rebate.
wouldn't they have W-9 issues?
What do you mean W-9 issues?
So if you
You're
make
declaring-
over a certain amount from an entity, you have to report that to your tax, 1099, sorry, thank you. You have to report that on your taxes.
Yeah, I don't know if when you get the property tax rebate, you pay your taxes up front. And then
So this is a rebate check through the fire company.
No, that's what you're talking about.
Correct.
So what you're talking about is a rebate check. Now, I don't know if people get 1099 when they get a rebate check, when they pay the taxes. What I'm talking about is just that the fire company provides them with a check, a stipend check, which would probably be taxed, of which
Correct.
we can't control that.
Correct.
But what I'm getting at is that both ways may be taxed.
Gotcha.
I don't know that.
Yeah, that would be.
The fire truck that you're talking about, the fire company has paid for a grant writer, and they wrote a grant over the fall into the winter, and they submitted a grant to replace that piece of apparatus.
I'm just saying to prepare in case it falls through.
Yeah,
We should always prepare in case the worst happens.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm
I
aware
just
of
didn't
it.
see that in there, so that's why I was like,
Well, because they have a grant in, and they're in good financial condition, and they have a grant. So we're anticipating, this is our best guess, but we are anticipating that they'll get help to fund the replacement of one of their apparatus.
and I definitely think the cop's gate needs to get fixed. I didn't realize it was manual. That's horrible for them.
No, that's not the gate that they use.
Oh, it's the back one here.
The gate that opens automatically is in the front. They
Okay,
don't have to get out and move it.
okay.
This is like a secondary gate.
I'll have to start bringing my chief water more, you know?
All right, Judith, that's the motion.
Motion to accept the 5-year plan as described by the township manager.
All right, I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is the treasurer's report for May. For the month of May, revenues outpaced expenditures by $528,702. Real estate transfers posted $63,869. Building permits posted $55,759. Earned income tax posted $654,226. And local service tax posted $46,112. Fund balances for May are as follows, subject to audit: general fund $15,876,299, firehouse and equipment $768,144, road machinery $286,587, capital projects fund $491,952, highway aid fund $476,786, Parks and Recreation, $895,611, Parks and Recreation capital, $375,171, capital reserve, $230,056, for a total of $19,400,606.
Judith, any questions?
No questions.
I make a motion.
Motion?
I make a motion that we approve the May 2024 Treasurer's Report subject to audit. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is the bill payments. I request approval of the bill payments for June 3rd totaling $46,913.05, and for June 17th in the amount of $1,133,750.93, subject to audit. The June 17th bill payments, why that number is so high is it contains a significant portion of the road program payment that was just completed.
Any questions, Judith?
No questions.
No questions.
Want a motion?
Motion. To approve
Motion
the
to accept the bill?
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Judith.
Michael.
Go ahead, Judith.
Motion to accept the bill payments for May 3rd and May 17th, subject to audit.
Second? Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Solicitor's Report.
Thank you very much. I have nothing to report this evening.
Thank you, Mary. Engineer's Report.
I also have nothing to report tonight.
Is there any old business?
No.
No. Is there any new business? No.
Nope.
Public comment? No. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Judith.
See you next week. See you next month. Bye.
Thank you.